me, boy, don't you flatter me. Wanna rat on me, but that won't rattle me. I got the heart for the mission to carry me. You not the first or the worst one to challenge me. If it's smoke that you want, then you got it.
The question in here, what is Semitic?
Well, what we're taking to be is that it's against Jews.
They always label you guys like a hate group, saying that you guys speak on hating other groups and everything like that. That's what I was looking at.
So if you're searching for God, you're trying to be closer with Christ, the only way you're going to be closer is by keeping his commandments, right? This Bible is a spiritual book. The only way you can read it 8 times a day, you can read it all day, you can have it on audio book all day, but if you're not keeping the commandments of God, you will never understand it.
So I'm about to show out.
Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So Egypt is a word, it breaks down to Egyptos, which means bondage. So now, remember, we're reading where the Israelites just got out of captivity in Egypt. So now, I want you to think about something. These your kids? Or one of you? Just him?
My boy's nephew.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so this your son right here?
That's fine.
Okay, so imagine you send your son to grandma's house. Every time he go to grandma's house, he get a whooping. If you say, hey, better not do that, you going to grandma's house, what's he gonna think?
He ain't gonna go no more.
He ain't gonna want to go. Because he know he gonna get a whooping, right? So he know if you say grandma's house, oh, that's punishment.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing that happened with the Israelites. So when we read this, read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So we just got out of slavery in Egypt. So he's saying, I'm gonna take you into Egypt again, or bondage again, slavery again. Read.
With ships.
All right. Now, if we have any basic fundamental history of the Bible, the Israelites never went into actual Egypt again with ships. They never went into Egypt again. It was so close you could walk. So why would you need a ship to get there? So when he's saying that, he's saying you were going to captivity on ships. Who did that happen to? Who did that happen to? That happened in the transatlantic slave trade. You know what I'm saying? That's the history that they trying to take out of school with the, what is it, the 16 critical race theory. Trying to say that we offered ourselves to come over here. And we didn't offer ourselves to come over here. Indentured servants. They use those type of words as if we didn't get taken off the west coast of Africa and brought over here and sold. Okay, so the Bible is telling you that, telling us our history. It's telling us that we were going to slavery if we didn't keep God's commandments. Right? It's telling us that that's what happened to us. Finish that out for me, sir.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Thou shalt see it no more again. So now, when we reading about the Israelites in the Bible, there's this big controversy right now because is everybody familiar with Kanye and what he's been going through too? You aware of that? He's been making statements saying, hey, we the real Jews. These people do us dirty. These so-called Jewish people, they do us dirty, right? They put us in these contracts. They take our money. You know what I'm saying? They put dangerous or murderous music in our community. There was an interview with Leor Cohen. I'm pretty sure you know who that is, right? Leor Cohen. He's
300.
Yeah, he used to be with Def Jam. You know what I'm saying? He literally said in the interview, like, I'm an opportunist. I don't really care about your community. I care about the people I gotta feed. So yeah, I'm gonna sell murderous music in your neighborhood. He literally said that, and that's the Koch records. All these record executives are, so-called Jewish men. They run music. They run entertainment. So when Kanye was speaking out against it, here comes that backlash. Now all of a sudden they take away his Adidas, they take away all his endorsements, his Yeezy. Why is that? Because there's a controversy with knowing who you are as Israelites, as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. There's a controversy. Anytime you step up to say, hey, I'm an Israelite, you're going to be met with some type of force saying, no, you're anti-Semitic. Now, if I was to ask a question in here, what is Semitic? Does anybody know? You know, sir, what Semitic is?
Well, what we're taking to be is that it's against Jews.
Against Jews. Well, That's what they changed the definition to be as of recently. That wasn't the definition from before. You know what I'm saying? The definition from before. Do y'all got that? No, Semitic. Is it in there?
I know we Googled it the other day. I just forgot.
Yeah. So they changed the definition of Semitic. So this is something we got to know. Semitic means of the line of Shem. All right? Because Noah, after he got off the ark, he had 3 sons. He had Shem, Japheth, and Ham, right? And they always tell us we come from Ham, right? They say, you black people come from Ham. All right? So we're going to pull a couple things. Give me Ham. This is where we got to start reading as a people. We got to start studying as a people. All the information is right there in front of us, but because of media, because of influence, we don't see it. But we got to understand the influence that we getting ain't coming from our own people. When you want to wear Jordans, or when you want to listen to a Cardi B song, when you want to listen to who else is popular right now? 21 Savage or Drake or something like that. You got to understand it's by design. It's by design, like this is what's going to be popular to them. You know what I'm saying? And they force that upon you, and they force those opinions upon you. So read that real quick.
Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood.
Read.
He became the progenitor of the dark races.
It says he became the progenitor of the dark races. Now they'll stop reading right there. He became the progenitor of the dark races. So, yeah, you so-called African Americans, y'all come from him. But let's keep reading. Read.
Not the Negroes.
But not the Negroes. So it's making a distinction between dark-skinned people and Negroes. Now we know when they got off the boats, it said Negroes for sale. It didn't say Africans for sale. It said Negroes for sale. They called you a Negro. They called you nigger. They called you nigga. We call ourselves that to this day. So it's telling you right there that Ham was the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes. Not the Negroes. So it made a distinction on who came from who. Now let's read Shem.
Shem, you want me to finish Ham?
No, you can't.
Okay. Shem, second son of Noah, and progenitor of the Semitic race.
Of the Semitic race. So now, when we say when somebody claims that you are anti-Semitic, that means that you are against the Semitic people. All right? So when you understand who the Semitic people are, then now we understand that so-called Negroes were Semitic. So-called Arabs are Semitic. So-called white men are Semitic. So-called Asian men are Semitic. So, how can you be anti-Semitic against something that you are? So now they try to switch the meaning of it, like you said, to being anti-Jew, right? And like Kanye said, how can I be anti-Jew when I am a Jew? Okay? So now the controversy is, now the big problem is, Kyrie Irving comes out, Kanye West comes out, Nick Cannon comes out, Deshaun Jackson comes out. Who else? There's so many celebrities that have came out saying we are the Israelites, that black people are the Israelites. Now the so-called Jewish man is saying, well, wait a minute. It's okay if you want to claim to be a Jew, but don't say that I'm not a Jew. But we just read in Deuteronomy 28 the qualifications to say who are the Israelites. It said you will go into captivity. It said you will be in slavery. It said you would go through these things. Did those people ever go through those things? So how can they claim something that's not theirs? This is what we got to start asking ourselves. This is the things that we got to start reading. Now give me Revelations 2:9. Let me show you something. You may not have never heard the Bible like this. It's a reason why they want to claim this heritage. It's a reason. I'm gonna get to that point, but I want to just expose the lies real quick. Read it.
Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich.
So this is the Most High talking to a church in Sardis, and he's telling the Israelites in that church, he said, I know what you're going through. I know your poverty. Read.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not.
He said, I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews and are not, but read.
But are the synagogue of Satan.
So what did he call people who pretend to be Israelites but haven't met the qualifications, haven't went through the curses of God that pertain to the Israelites? Read that again. That are the synagogue of Satan.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
All right, so now, this is where people start jumping off the train a little bit. Because we start saying, okay, well, that's cool and all. The Israelites, okay, I get it. But Jesus Christ came to save everybody, right? That's what you heard in church, right? That's what you heard, right, sis? Jesus come to save everybody. That's what you heard? That's what they teach in Southern Baptists, right? No Jew, no Gentile, no none of that, right? Christ come to save everybody. But let's see what Christ said out of his own mouth. Let's go to Matthew chapter 15, verse 24.
Matthew 15:24. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
This is out of Christ's own mouth. He's saying that he's not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Give me Matthew 1 and 15 or 20. One of them. Let's see what Christ is saying, what Christ was coming to do. Read.
Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. And she shall bring forth a son.
Talking about Jesus Christ, read.
And thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins.
It says, you should call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from his sins. Now, why don't we read in these scriptures in the church?
Iuic TV, where we are recreating the narrative for the black family. As the Bible says, where there's no vision, the people perish. The media have been vehicles that have conveyed destructive images of God's children, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Not only are we in the streets, but we are on the airwaves and networks, compelling our people to come back to their heritage. Tune in to Iuic TV.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example.